What up, geek variants? We are here for Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and we're trying to find out was it good or not, and what's new for the DCU. So let's talk about it. So, geek variant. So today we're talking about Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and this was the newest movie that just dropped today. Here it is, March 16th, and basically we want to see what Safran and Gunn have for us with this new outing with DC movies. They've already labeled Gods and Monsters as the first chapter, so now we're kind of getting into what that entails. And with this being the first movie out the gate, we'll see how it ties in, or if it's still going to be one of those things that's kind of off to the side. So, without further ado, we'll start getting into and answering those questions that I think is going to happen and what my opinions are as far as everything is going forward. So just make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave comments down below because I want to know your thoughts and opinions on everything as we go forward with this. So first, let's talk the movie. Was it any good? The movie was similar to the first one. It was okay for what it was. Definitely played the comedy angle. Again, it wasn't too over the top. It wasn't crazy. It was still a fun ride. Most kids will still enjoy the movie. And again, it's about kids kind of growing up to be teens. They're trying to go out into the world and do what they do. So they're still got that immature phase, and that's the whole thing about Billy Batson and stuff with him being a kid and being a superhero and bringing his family into it. He's going to be immature in that aspect. But the movie itself was solid. If I give the movie a rating, I'll give it a seven. Seven, like it's solid for what it is. Now, the core of the story is roughly Billy Batson. He's trying to keep his family together and hang on to everything. He's lost a lot. We get that to the first movie. He's lost a lot growing up. So when he finally finds a family, he wants to hang on to it. So it's all or nothing kind of thing, and that's the problem. He's kind of holding on too tight to his family, and they want freedom to kind of go and still do what they do. It doesn't mean they don't love each other and they're not trying to be together, but they got to fly solo, so to speak. So, and that's been a point of contention throughout the entire movie. Mary wants to go to college. Freddie wants to kind of do some superhero on his own. Everybody's got other stuff they're interested in, baseball and other projects and unicorns. So it makes sense. So with that being said, we get the kind of turmoil between siblings that we're normally used to seeing with anybody who has siblings. The same thing is on the same side for the Daughters of Atlas. We find out that they're here trying to restore power, and we immediately get a whiff of that as soon as the middle sister, which she goes to touch the staff, nah, she gets slapped away real quick, and that's where we kind of get a little bit of that animosity as far as what's going to happen between characters. How are they going to deal with each other? What's going to transpire for everything going forward? And it's been a big thing for them to just kind of fight with each other and be overbearing and protective. So you're getting it on both sides of the fence. So you got Hespera and Calypso that are trying to get the staff. Hespera being the older one, Calypso being the middle child, and then we have Anthea, who we find out later on is the third sister, who is again kind of plugged into the high school to kind of figure out what's going on. Pretty standard story stuff. You kind of set up. A lot of the story was, I won't say super predictable. That's what that, but you kind of, if you watch the cues, you see where the story is going, and more or less, it leads to kind of betrayal in the end, where you don't know who to trust or who's going to be on your team because people are flip flopping. That's where we start getting a little bit of the different Easter eggs that pop in through the movie. We get, Fawcett High School, which again, the creator of the original comics. Shout out to, Bill Parker, who I share a name with, which is the creator of Shazam. And we start seeing the Wonder Woman Easter eggs with warnings of impending doom coming through, which was pretty funny, by the way, when they put the wizard's head on Wonder Woman. So you don't actually get to see Wonder Woman. You see her body, but it's his head. So that kind of throws you off of the trailer, so you don't know what you're going to kind of see going forward, but it's dream sequence stuff. But either way, as we go through the movie, we're sitting there understanding that the base plot for them is to take back the powers, steal the powers back with the staff. Once they get all the powers back, they got to find the golden apple. They got to bury it with the seeds to sprout their new tree to, I guess, restore their kingdom and rule over mortals as they've been known to do. Billy's just going to try and stop it, and he's got to protect his family in the process. As we go through it, powers get stolen, get, regained back and forth. Again, it's all kind of a bit wishy-washy as far as, we're going to keep flopping back and forth. Some decent fight scenes, but again, the sense of urgency throughout the movie just kind of, it lagged for me. It's like when you should be kind of stepping it up and fighting, you weren't really doing so. You're too busy having lovey-dovey moments while people are out there getting killed in the street. And when you should be at fighting, you're kind of doing posing and stuff like that. So again, they're kids, teenagers, so I kind of get that aspect of it, but I wanted a little bit more because I wasn't really invested. Like I struggled to stay invested in the moment of what's going on. The comedic timing was pretty good for how everything was playing out, but there are moments where you kind of felt it to be serious, so you want to kind of step it up a little bit. You can still make jokes to a degree, but not everything was hitting. We eventually get the big moment where Billy Batson comes to terms with everything, and the Daughters of Atlas kind of come to terms with what it is they want to do. Both are kind of happening at the same time. Start with the Daughters of Atlas. Of course, we get the betrayal that was kind of noted at in the beginning. First is little sister who wants to help Anthea, so she wants to help freaking because she's falling in love with Freddie or whatever the case may be, which there's always some kind of little love story involved in a lot of these movies. And then you have Calypso, who is annoyed by her older sister for not doing what she needs to do. She's hesitating too much. Calypso was the only one who had a sense of urgency. Like Calypso was trying to get stuff done. lucyliu was on it. Like she wanted to, like, no, we got to murder some stuff. We got to kill. Like, we got to take over. So I was very, very happy with lucyliu as far as her character doing what needs to be done. Hesper, again, older character. She's seen a lot, so she's been hesitant as far as what they're trying to do. So when it comes down to this is our goal, now both the big sister and the little sister are backtracking, and the middle one seems the only one who's on the straight and narrow as far as this is what we got to do. So both get betrayed, but both end up helping the heroes in the end to kind of defeat, the sister, and it ends up being a self-sacrifice, more or less, from Billy in a manner that, is fitting for him because he was lacking the wisdom of Solomon as everything goes through. He has all his other strengths, but wisdom of Solomon, it just seemed to be what he was lacking. But as the movie went on, it started to come together for him. And that's where it just kind of started to piece by piece, like, okay, now he's starting to gain it. And we get the full Shazam, so to speak, now as he's more self-aware of what he needs to do and how he needs to do to take care of things. So overall, again, pretty solid movie and stuff. I want to say with the ending and stuff, and again, this is, you got the spoiler one in the beginning, I said, so the ending stuff, we get the whole Billy Batson death, and this is where the cliche of character dies, but we bring him right back. And of course, because there's no guys left to bring him back, Wonder Woman steps in, who was in his dreams anyway. She gives the spark to the staff, which was out of power, and he's back to life. Of course, he finally gets to meet Wonder Woman, who promptly blows him off and is like, yeah, no, we're not dating. So go continue to save the world. But she acknowledges him as a god. So that's kind of how Shazam fits into gods and monsters going forward. I mean, it already kind of fit because you knew where his powers and stuff came from. But this just kind of let us know that, okay, he's probably going to stick around a bit longer and continue to play the character, which is good. Because, I mean, I like Zachary Levi. I like Asherangel. Like, they've done a really good job portraying the character, and I want to kind of keep that going if they're going to continue to do so. Like, again, the movies are solid, so I definitely want to see that going forward. Now we start getting into the end credits. In the end credits, we get a couple different things. With the end credits, we get an entire scenario dedicated to Shazam just kind of standing by and practicing with his stuff, and we actually get Harcourt and Economos from Peacemaker. They show up on behalf of freaking who else? The great mystery woman herself, so that Amanda Waller, and trying to get things done for the Justice Society. So they come to recruit Shazam for the Justice Society. In the process of recruiting him, they set up things going forward to be teamed up with, whoever's going to be involved in that. Which right now we know we've got Cyclone, we've got Adam, and we've got Adam Smasher, and we've got Hawkman. So Justice Society is kind of being formed, and I like it because certain things are brought out. This is where we get more and more Easter eggs. Not only do we get the Captain Marvel Jr. kind of reference with the Captain Every Power Jr. Nod. He got called Captain Marvel by one of the fans when he called Thundercrack and all this other stuff when the fans were like shouting for him and stuff like that. So we get his original Captain Marvel name reference, which is pretty cool and stuff. Like I said, it was great. But we get to certain references that he's calling out. He's like, Justice Society, I want to be part of Justice League. You got two guys with justice in it, kind of what's going on. There's other names that you can pick, like the Authority or the Avengers, and he's kind of shouting out those names and shouting. So I think it was a nice little nod to DC, that DC was given to Marvel. So that where it's just like, yeah, Avengers, that's pretty cool. So that, so it's nice. And with Gunn being, formerly of everything with Marvel and being the head of DC, we want to kind of have that cohesive relationship between the two, because that can give us crossovers in the future if that is deemed appropriate for whatever plans that everyone has in place. Again, I don't want it to happen if it doesn't fit, if it doesn't make sense to happen, but as a comic book fan, I would love to see it. So it's pretty good that they showed up, and there was a quick little scene there. So Justice Society, he agreed to it, so we may see some of that going forward, and there probably maybe a Shazam 3 or go straight to Justice Society movie or something, since that's already been established. Now, the second credit scene, so that we get Dr. Sivana and we get Mr. Mind. Mr. Mind is back, and it's been 2 years, according to Sivana, that he's been waiting since the first time that they talked. So now we get more conversation. So he's setting things up. He's got one more thing he needs to do, and then all will be revealed. So Mr. Mind is still working on stuff. He's that little Venetian worm that, is kind of like a worm scout, kind of out there doing his thing, trying to set up something. But he said he'll have legs soon enough. So something is going on, something is happening, and I'm going to speculate on that in another video. But the movie itself was solid. Again, definitely, I think you should check it out when you get a chance. Understand that certain things aren't going to be the same with what was going on with the DCEU originally, and we're kind of changing things up. Like, I think we even got a little Black Adam reference as far as just when there was a charged suit that looked black and flying with the lightning and stuff like that. So it could be a nod, could be not so with that, but I'm pretty sure that Black Adam is done within the DCU and kind of relegated to sitting on the sidelines unless they can come to an agreement as to how they want to bring Black Adam in or not. That's up in the air. But this is stuff that we're dealing with right now with the transition and setting up how they want to rock the gods and monsters throughout the rest of the DC universe. And we still got Flash movie coming, and we've got Aquaman, and we got Blue Beetle. We got different casting things that are rolling around. Wonder Woman is supposed to be coming in animated form, I believe, at some point in time. So this may be Gal Gadot's last kind of run as Wonder Woman, for all we know. We may be getting, Ben Affleck's supposed to give his last run as Batman, supposedly. He already came out and said he's not going to direct anything for James Gunn because that's not what he's interested in, but that doesn't mean he still won't act if necessary. Again, everything's up in the air. So I want to hear what you have to say about it. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to know your comments. I want to know, where do you think the DCU is going? What do you think of this movie? How do you think the characters are going to transition into the Gods and Monsters chapter of Gunn and Safran's DC universe? Let me know in the comments below, and we will catch you guys in the next one. Taste the rainbow. That line was classic.